You know, guys, throughout my life, I've had so many supernatural encounters. Too many to count, especially when I was a kid. And they were terrifying. They were things that no kid should go through. And I was lucky. I could have turned out really bad. I could have been in a really bad state right now. But luckily, through God's mercy, He delivered me from these things, from these experiences. So specifically, I'm talking about my encounters with jinns and demons. When I was a kid, I was harassed. Throughout my life, up until recently, I was harassed on a constant basis. It just changed. It's sort of like the harassment evolved, per se. None so more worse than when I was a kid. So I have this story in particular that I want to share with you guys, because it's really important that we understand that this is a reality, and that children in particular are extremely vulnerable to demons and jinns attacks. I've seen it with my own eyes, guys. I've experienced it firsthand, and I've seen how it affects children directly and how it leaves them traumatized. It leaves them a shell of themselves. So when I was a kid, I recently moved into my new house in Ottawa. And at first, obviously, we just moved in, so we weren't settled, but we were going to bed, and there was just a mattress on the floor with my mother and my little brother sleeping on it. And I was right next to the wall. My mother was right next to me, and my little brother was right next to her on the right side. So I woke up in the middle of the night. It was probably 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I noticed something come out of the wall. It was a hand. It was a black hand, but blacker than black. It was the blackest that you could ever imagine, just pure darkness. So it comes out of the wall, and it sort of crawls on my stomach. I was frozen in fear. I didn't know what to do. So I'm like looking at it, my little 5-year-old self looking at it, and I decided to touch it, to see what the heck it was. So I went ahead and touched it with my other hand, and then disappeared straight into the wall. Keep in mind that my father was not in the house at the time, and the mattress was directly on the floor, directly on the wall. It was super scary, guys. It was super horrifying. And there was other circumstances too. You know, like when I was growing up, I had nightmares every night. Horrifying nightmares. To the point where I was scared to go to sleep. I would literally have a light on throughout the whole night because I couldn't bear to be in darkness. Because of A, the nightmares, and also B, if I did stay up with the light off, I would feel the presence of these things watching me while I slept. And then my little brother, he used to get night terrors. If you don't know what that is, that's when you get those nightmares that are so horrifying that you're screaming in terror. You're physically screaming in terror. You're crying. You're yelling, but you're still sleeping. He had a few of these, and then I would hear disembodied voices and all that stuff. So, you know, luckily, as I grew older, these experiences sort of ceased, but they sort of evolved to other manifestations, and I'll make a different video about that after. My point is, guys, if you have children, or if you have children in the future, and they tell you that they're experiencing weird things at night, that they feel as if something's in a room underneath the bed, maybe they're getting nightmares every night, maybe they're getting night terrors. This is absolutely not normal. You need to get this child spiritual help. Either see a priest, an imam, some sort of spiritual leader, something to do with God. Okay, don't see any shamans, don't see a witch or anything, okay, because that's just gonna make it worse. magic with magic is never a good thing. Yeah, we gotta take it seriously. And because I was a lucky one. Yeah, I could have easily have ended up with some sort of mental illness. Other people aren't so lucky. They end up in a traumatized state. Satan essentially traumatizes them so much that for the rest of their life they're stuck, right? Because that's what Satan does to children. He uses demons, either spiritual demons, to really mess them up through dark spiritual experiences like what I just told you, or he uses human demons, evil people, to do horrifying things to them. You know what I'm talking about. And this also destroys their soul. And if Satan gets these children at a young age, it is extremely difficult to get them back. That's why for Satan, they're easy prey, because they're so vulnerable. Right? We gotta really protect our children, guys. It's not a joke out here. We see what's going on in the schools. Now he's infiltrated the schools. Back in the day, 1950s, 60s, kids used to pray. They used to pray in the morning, pray to God, sing the national anthem, which also mentions God, right? None of that's happening these days. No one's praying in school anymore. If anything, that's shunned, right? They've taken God out of schools, and what have they replaced them with? What do you see at schools these days? You see LGBTQ flags. We go to schools now, it's no longer God. It's Satan. These children are being indoctrinated, being attacked to believe that their gender is not right, that they can choose their gender. Right? What does the Quran say? The Quran says when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to Iblis, Satan tells God that he's going to change his creation. So what does that mean? That means transgenderism, guys. That means Satan, one of his goals is to change men to women, women to men. You're seeing scripture, Holy Scripture, manifesting in real life. It was prophesized. You're witnessing it in real life. So we gotta really protect our children, protect them. Like me personally, I have a daughter, guys, and I sold my TV. Because television is one of the top ways that Satan attacks the children. Because what do children watch on TV? What are all these channels teaching children? Pushing LGBTQ, they're pushing all sorts of madness. We're aware of all the movies these days, right? Coming out, geared towards children. It's all propaganda. It's all to mess with their perception of reality, to indoctrinate them. So, if you can, get rid of your television. I promise you'll thank yourself. Try to limit their screen time with the phone, if at all. No video games. Guys, because Satan comes at people from all angles. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala once again mentions that Satan was told God that he would come at everyone from the right, from the left, from the front, from the back. What's he mean by that? He means all angles, guys. He's talking about music, movies, video games, schools, dreams, while they're sleeping, while they're awake. Gotta protect the kids, guys. We gotta protect our daughters. We gotta protect our sons. Because all they have is us. All they have is us. All they have is God. And if we're not there for them, then the world comes in. And that's when they lose themselves. They lose their souls. All right, guys? So it's not all doom and gloom, but it's a reminder. We got to be aware of the enemy and how he functions, and we got to protect our kids. With God by our side, guys, we're going to be okay. We're always good with God by our side. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Stay blessed. God bless you and your families and your children, and take care. Thank you.